honor your path. I honor your commitment to your own awakening. It is the best gift you can give to the world, and so I'm deeply, deeply humbled to be in conversation and in partnership with you there. Let's begin with taking some time to center and to connect with our breath. If it's comfortable for you to close your eyes, please join me in doing that. If it's possible for you to open your hands in your lap, to me, that represents a sign of receptivity. Imagine or actually lengthen your spine. And if it's comfortable, lift your chin up slightly, which opens up that heart space and gives you the opportunity to lift your inner eye upward and towards the higher consciousness. Join me in taking nice, slow, deep breaths, keeping your attention upon the inhale, feeling the body stretch and expand, noticing when the inhale turns into an exhale, and then follow that as it leaves the body, and then inhaling again. We'll spend a couple rounds just being with the breath. Continuing to keep the breath a little deeper than normal rhythm, I invite you to join me in imagining a ball of golden light in the center of your chest, the heart chakra, if you think of it that way. Breathe into this golden light, which represents the light of the Holy Spirit, the Christ light. This is just a symbol that we use. Breathe your attention into that and just affirm, I am that. I am the Christ light. And imagine this light beginning to expand and grow throughout the body. And as it does, it purifies the body and releasing it from any held energy, any held memories, any grievances that are being reflected into the body. We ask that forgiveness set the body free, purify this instrument that it can be used well by love. So just for a moment, imagine this golden light swirling throughout the body, head to toe. Purify, forgive, remember. And now imagine this golden light streaming from your heart out into your world, touching all of your relationships, past, present, future. Imagine connecting heart to heart as we stream forgiveness for yourself and for others. Just taking a moment to let go of any stories, every story. Let go of every idea that is other than God. I ask that forgiveness set me and everyone free. And finally, join me in imagining the world. Again, using your imagination as the tool, see the globe like a size of a basketball out in front of you in your mind's eye. And imagine this golden light streaming from your heart and swirling all around the planet. blessing it all. I ask that forgiveness set me and the world free. Imagine the ego's world just disappearing and melting. And imagine that God's world, peace, love, harmony, just reveals itself right here, right here, right now. We release that image and we take one final moment to extend love from our hearts to everyone else here. Whether they're here live or whether they're watching this at a later time, we include them in this web of love that we offer up this collective field that is serving each one of us perfectly today. It is vibrating, it is alive, it is the light that we share and that we are. What I affirm and know is that we are blessed and we are guided in this gathering, guided by the love that we are. And so it is. Take a deep breath. Opening your eyes when you're ready. Thank you for doing that. If it's possible for you, it might be interesting for you to have a journal, pen and paper, something to take some notes on while we take our journey together today. It's not required, but it can be helpful to capture some ideas that we're going to move through. And I'm going to ask you to allow yourself to go back, way back, to your childhood mind and to the time when God was just forming in concepts that you may be far past today. Even if they may be like, oh, that doesn't even exist in my reality. We're gonna go back and we're gonna kind of look within and be willing to look at what we used to believe and the place from which we grew up and where we came, to discover and to be willing and humble should there be any remnants or seeds of separation that remain, most importantly in the subconscious mind, because this is where they hold, and this is where, we're unaware of them until they get triggered in our experience. But let me begin by sharing a bit of my story, because it really is all that I teach from and all that moves me into being and doing what I do. I want you to listen from the point of view of how you relate, how it is your story, and if not similar, not in the experience, look for the similarity in the energy and in the larger idea that's here. I was raised in a blue collar Detroit suburb, an uneducated area, sweet people, good people, mostly addicts, Catholics, and they were the disempowered. They were definitely the unawakened ones. And they were the patterns of living. They were just believing what they were told. And they didn't even have a point in them that was questioning. Or if they did question anything, it certainly was kept in private. It was not discussed. They were the people that did what the priest told them to do, did what the nuns told them to do, and believed what they were told to believe. Now, inside of this belief system, what they were agreeing upon, and this is where I invite you to entertain and see where you used to relate, they believed that God was an external being, a white man, someone who was keeping score, someone who was punishing, someone who held the ultimate decision-making power to let them into the pearly gates of heaven if they were good and acceptable at the end of their life, or send them to the fires of hell for eternity. This, where I grew up, were the two options, and they were the two options that were waiting for me at the end of this life. And the work that I was to do was to try to be good and perfect and aligned and what God wanted me to be, so that when I reach this moment, God willing, I get through those pearly gates. Now, I am a gay man, and at a very early age, I mean, like 3 or 4 years old, I knew that something was not matching what was happening in the world. But I also instinctively knew that I was to hide this. I knew that I had to quickly learn how to create an entirely different being, to literally project a different mark that was presentable and acceptable. And I'm trying to learn the rules of the world because they don't look or feel like who I am on the inside. And I'm trying to present this character that I'm training myself to be. This is on the field training. And I'm talking waking up in the morning, everything from breakfast, lunch, dinner, nighttime, and everything in between. I am practicing not being me. Now, it was horrible. It was a very, very, very challenging childhood. It also was perfect in a lot of ways. We're happy to talk about that later on and share with you the glory of it. But during the time, this little boy who felt so alone and so not okay and so not like everybody else, was trying to be what he was supposed to be accepted, to experience belonging, to feel okay. That got collapsed and projected onto God. So now the bigger thing for me, the existential suffering was, this is who God expected me to be. My experience of God was extremely punishing, extremely scary, and I feared at such a deep level. Now, the Course in Miracles points to this. The Course in Miracles says that deep inside of us, there is a guilt and there is a fear of God. There is a fear of dissolution. There is a fear that this other self that we made is going to, that's what we are. We believe that that's what we are, and that's not going to be acceptable to God. Now, the Course years later laid out my entire childhood experience, and I was shocked to realize that I was not alone in my understanding, in my experience of God. The reason this topic is so important to me and why I love talking about God and going deeper into it is because the healing of the word, the healing of the idea, and the healing of the belief that we are separate is everything. It is what the Course is about for me, and it is what my life's journey has been about. But it took a lot of intention and work and prayers and practice to begin moving from this external white male punishing God. Fear of punishment lives inside of our culture. The belief that we could be excommunicated, the belief that we're not safe, these remain pervasive throughout culture. And so your willingness to become free from them, I believe, is so honorable. And again, I really appreciate you for that commitment. And I believe that the deepest and the fastest route to that healing of that which we experience in the world and see at every experience of the ego's world is in healing it in our relationship with the divine. When we go right to the core of relationship, of understanding, and we let that deep, deep healing happen, then boom, the entire world changes. So I want to ask you, And this is where you get to share, and I want to hear from you. And I want you to, if you want to play the game with me, the way I'm laying it out, this is when you take out your journal. And if you take a page, draw a line down the middle. And on the left column, I'd love for you to write old God. And again, even if you don't conceive of that old God anymore, it's about the willingness to say, I wonder if any remnants or any seeds of this idea remain in me. This is why it's so good to do the deeper dive today. So left side, draw a line down the middle, top of the left column, old God. Write down some of the ideas. Now, by the way, the positive ideas we're going to keep. So don't worry about that. So we're going to, when I say old God, I'm going to ask you to reflect upon the ideas and the thoughts that were negative, that were limiting, that were fear-based, that were of the ego, of course. Again, some of the things I mentioned: white male, external. As a kid, I believed God lived in the sky. It was up there. That God was always watching me, keeping score. That God punished. That God didn't answer prayers. That God had preference. God had these chosen ones, and those ones weren't chosen. Duality, duality, duality. Take a moment and reflect on those.